Hi loves, welcome to another video with me. My name is Beatrice Chow. If you're new here, karibu sana. So we're moving forward with our I believe it's second episode. If you have not watched the first and the intro episode, I highly suggest that you do. So karibu sana. My name is Beatrice Chow, as I earlier said. So I have my notebook here with me. Sorry guys for that. I have my notebook here with me, so I'll be going through some notes. Sorry guys, there are disturbances outside, but yeah, we have to do what we have to do. So just pardon me for that. So we are just getting onto it. So the second episode is all about preparation. How can you prepare for the wilderness season? I know how this might seem, and I'm here to say that I'm not wishing. I don't have any intent on you, but look, we just have to tell the truth, and the truth is difficult seasons are going to come. Like if Jesus was persecuted, like we are going to face persecution either way from us. So we can't expect things to just flow smoothly. There are going to be valleys in between. There are going to be like problems. There are going to be seasons where we are not our best, and we have to embrace them. So how can we prepare? Because we know that these things are going to come. We know that these seasons are going to come. So how can we prepare for them better? How can we just brace ourselves for like maybe a more smoother ride? Because when you prepare yourself for something, it doesn't hit you as much as like you're unprepared for it. So how do we prepare? First, I'd say just having the right mindset and knowing that these things are going to happen. So if your mindset is already prepared, and just have this analogy of like, okay, as Christians in faith, okay, this is a Christian-based channel as at now, because I love where my life is going to. I'm really drawing closer to the Lord, and He's been very faithful to me. So this will be a Christian-based channel, and maybe a little bit of lifestyle, but more Christian-based. I just use this analogy of like, if Jesus was persecuted, who am I? Like, Jesus was God's son, God's only son. So for His only son to be persecuted like that and just be nailed on the cross, we have to face it. We have to have things that are going to happen in our lives. So we just have to accept it, endure, and hopefully we will yield the fruit of His righteousness. Okay. My other maybe way to prepare is prayer. Like prayer. I know we've had this a lot, but it really makes a lot of sense. Imagine someone who was okay, two different persons who are facing the same problem, but this other person was actually praying even before the problem came, and this other person was not a prayerful person. Like, who do you expect to like face it more easily? Because maybe this person who's praying actually had a vision that, okay, this thing is going to come to you, but it's going to end. And that's why I have a shot on my video where I specifically say why dreams are very powerful. Like, Jesus' life was saved through a dream, through Joseph. So that goes to say like how dreams are very important in our lives. And for any reason, if you're struggling to remember your dreams, just ask for God for guidance, because this was a trend for me. This was actually something that happened to me. It still is, but I'm kind of starting to remember. I believe there was a blockage somewhere. I don't know where the blockage came from. I'm still trying to unravel myself in a lot of different ways, and a lot of things are happening, and I'm just like, every day I just wake up with a new like realization, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. Like today I woke up, I actually had a dream, and Joshua Selman was invited to one of my friend's birthday, and I remember there were questions being asked, and I've always said that I believe that my gift is in my speech. I love to talk. I love to write. I love to share ideas. Whenever I just hear about something, I love to share it, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking. And people actually say that I have a nice voice, okay? So I can as well as use the gift that God has given me. That's why I'm here. So, yeah, what was I even saying? Yeah, in the dream, I was literally starting to speak, and then someone else, like there was sort of commotion going there. Every time I start to speak, there was a sort of commotion happening. So I know that there is an attack on my speech, and I don't know if it even, like, literally this happened 2 hours ago. I was working night shift, so I just came to sleep during the day, and I just woke up to film this video. So I know that there's an attack on my speech, so I know that that's something that I need to pray for. And I know that I have this fear inside of me, like anytime I try to speak maybe to large crowds or even to work within crowds, I have this crippling fear inside of me. Like even when I go to to remove my offering in the church, whenever I come back, you have to face the crowd. So there's like, for some reason, or I can't like look people in the eye, but I'm starting to pray over that and just gate over that, because I know that's a spirit as well, and we're spirit filled beings, so we just have to pray and conjure the spirit. And that's why I say prayer is a very powerful thing. Prayer is a very powerful weapon, and it's one of the weapons that's being stated in God's armor. So yeah, this brings us to the third point. So where God's armor? God's armor is found in Ephesians 6, I believe. Ephesians 6 chapter, it starts with 13. So this, I believe, was Paul. I don't know who wrote this book. We can just check. Yeah, this was Paul to the Ephesians. I'm right actually on that. And it says, okay, how I went for a Bible study one evening, and the pastor mentioned that while Paul was writing this, he was in prison, and he saw how the guard was wearing, and so he related the armors of God to whatever the guard was wearing. So you'll see it in a little bit. So Ephesians 6 chapter 13, it says, therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand therefore, having fastened the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness. So the breastplate is that thing which looks almost like a bra that the soldiers wear, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth. And as for the shoes of your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Lord, praying at all times in the Spirit, with all prayer and supplication. So that's it. Pray in the Spirit. Pray at all times in the Spirit, with all prayer and supplication. So I've had a lot of, should we pray in the Spirit? Should we not pray in the Spirit? Praying in the Spirit is literally praying in tongues, like shikarabusikama, like it's that. So I'm a big fan. I'm actually a huge fan of Joshua Selman, and this is what he actually says. I'm just going to give you whatever I know. I don't know if this is the truth. I don't know if this is I don't know where this lies, but this is actually what I practice myself. So praying in the Spirit is a very powerful language, because we are like spiritual beings, and God is a spirit. So if we pray in the Spirit, it's like spirit versus spirit. While if we pray just the normal prayers, the enemy is always watching at us. The enemy will use our words because he understands we'll use our words or we'll use our prayers to kind of hinder them from getting to God, or will, you know, that the devil is a little bit tricky, so he might actually confuse us during the prayer to actually mutter words that are not right so that we can pray them to God. So praying in the spirit, the fact that you're not even aware of what you're praying, or you don't even understand what you're praying, actually that's a very powerful thing, because you look at, even sometimes when you end our prayers with like, Spirit, intercede for me for maybe those things that I've not been able to pray for. So asking Spirit to intercede is the same way as praying in the Spirit, because Spirit will not use the language that you use. Spirit is going to use his spirit language to intercede for you. So why can't you just pray in the spirit? And praying in the spirit is very powerful, because one, the enemy cannot attack you because they don't know what you're praying. They don't know what sort of prayer you're making. And I believe it's a direct way to God. It's a direct line, because there's no kind of translation happening, maybe from your language to another language, to from maybe English to the language of the spirit, you know. So I highly suggest praying in the spirit. But if you're not there yet, just start in a very subtle way. I'm not saying make noise for your neighbors or do whatever, but just start in a very, and I actually suggest Yusha Salman who has actually a ton of videos, you know, of just him praying in the spirit for maybe an hour or so. So I've been kind of working on that, so I highly suggest praying in the spirit. That's my take. Okay, don't come for me, yeah, so pray at all times. If you cannot pray in the spirit, just make sure you're praying at all times. And this is actually what he says, have spiritual discipline. Like, if you're going to say that you go during the day, maybe you're going to pray in the morning, in the evening, and at 3, make sure you have a set alarm or just a set time to know that, okay, morning 6 a.m. I'm in prayer, evening maybe 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. I'm in prayer, in the middle of the night maybe 3 p.m. Like, have disciplines, have like settled times where you know that this is my prayer time with the Lord, this is my time with God. So just make sure you have those systems in place. It's just like any other discipline. So just have the spiritual discipline to build that relationship with God, because it's all about building relationships. If you don't have a relationship with God, then how do you expect him to come for you during your time of need? You can't just call, you know, when I really relate to this, because sometimes we face things and we're like, God, please come through for me, and you've never prayed maybe even for the last 10 days. You can't call a friend that you haven't maybe talked to for maybe a year to come and help you. Like, they'll be like, okay, what, like, who are you, first of all, you know? So you have to build that relationship with God, so that when that time comes, God can easily come through for you. You can't expect God to come through for you while you are not even, like, we are not even friends. First of all, we're not even friends. Okay, first of all, I do not know who you are. Okay, the good thing is, like, God knows who we are because he actually created us. But do you know him? Do you know him? Why are you calling him at this time of the hour? So okay, to prepare, we have to build that relationship with God, and we build that relationship with God with spending time with God, either through prayer and through reading his word. Like, the Bible is a very fascinating book. It's very enlightening. It's just like mind-blowing, honestly. You really find new vocabulary. The other way we prepare is setting boundaries for ourselves, setting boundaries so that the enemy has no gate to come to us. And sometimes we leave the gates open by ourselves, so it's easier for the enemy to just come to us and lie to us and just do all matter of things. But honestly, just learning to set the boundaries. Like, if you have a nanny, like I had Pastor, is it Pastor's Apostle? I'm not sure if she's a pastor or apostle, but her name is Isi Ejeneba, and she was talking how the evil spirit works. Is the evil can take. This is how your financial prosperity is like tangled up. You maybe the first time you employ this person, you actually notice your finances going down. So how the spirit world works is maybe you have a nanny who's actually a witch. The moment you pay them your salary, the money is being taken because that's money from your labor. That's like money you have labored in. So they're going to tie your labor so that any money that comes through your labor might either be used for other purposes. That's why you find some people get paid and maybe they drink the whole money. Maybe they, like, you don't even know where the money is going. So that's like, you just find you have been tied in some way. So that's a sample. So you're leaving the door open. So any person, I'm just asking you to be cautious, okay, and pray. That's why prayer is very important. Any person who comes into your life, just look at the intentions. Okay, what are the intentions with you? I've cancelled a lot of relationships, honestly, because the intentions were not pure, and I'm not trying to go that line anymore. And some people are like, okay, child, but you used to do this. I'm like, okay, I used to. I'm not that person anymore. So some people will try to guilt trip you to make you feel like, you, like, to make you feel like a victim basically, but you're not. You're just trying to build a different path for yourself, and different is good for me right now. So just make sure you're not leaving any doors open for the devil to get in. Like, pornography is a way of leaving the door open for the devil to get in. Like, masturbation is a way of, or a door or a gate of just leaving the door open for the devil to get in. Lesbianism is a way that you leave the door open for the devil to get in. So what gates actually are you leaving open? Because some of you all are leaving all gates, okay? I'm not even going to get deep into that. Just do some self-assessment, honestly, on yourself, guys. Like, what kind of friends do you have in your life? What kind of people do you have in your surrounding? What kind of, just what are you letting into your life? Okay, what kind of habits do you have? Are you waking up and just staring at your phone the first thing in the morning, or are you waking up and just starting with the word of prayer? What gate are you leaving open for the devil to come and get into? And I know this is a difficult one, because this is like building habits all over again, and this is very difficult. Building habits is very difficult, whether it's working out, whether it's trying to read the Bible every morning, but it's doable. It's something that you can definitely train yourself. It's something that you can do. So make sure you have boundaries set in place. My other way to prepare is seeking God at all times, just seeking His counsel. Sometimes we go through stuff and we immediately call our parents. Sometimes, and I have been a victim of this, I was going through something I did not understand, and instead of just sitting down with the Lord and just being like, okay, God, what do you suggest I should do? I went to my mom. I'm like, Mom, this thing is happening, and she was like, okay, go on with it. And it ended up hurting me more, and that was actually not her, that was me, because I actually in some way idolized my mom, because honestly I could have just gone to God for advice, and just maybe He wouldn't answer me at the right time, maybe He would. So are you seeking God's counsel in everything that you do? Just try. And I know this is hard, because we don't think of prayer like the first thing that maybe the first thing that we should do when things are not going our way. So making it a habit to just seek God's counsel, I feel like that's a very powerful thing. So seek God's counsel always. Like, God, what do you need me to do? Or God, what step should I make even before opening a location for my business. What location do you suggest for my business? And maybe God will reveal things to you through a dream. Maybe God will just bring a friend, and a friend is going to be like, okay, there's a place being sold, and you go check it out, and you find that it's fit for your business. Like, ask God to lead you, ask God to guide you, and He's a very faithful God, you guys. He's very faithful in all He's doing. So seek God's counsel. The other one and the last one will be die. Like, I just said die. Okay, guys, that's not what I meant. Like, your flesh needs to die for your spirit to come out, because we live in the flesh so many times that we actually leave room for the devil to get inside of us. Like I said, pornography, we just leave a lot of room for for our flesh. Maybe it's just going for one thought, and that's a way for the devil to get in, because after that one thought, will you have the same thoughts that you start getting, what is it called, you start getting tipsy, you start getting like I've forgotten the word, but this urge to have sex, you start getting that. And alcohol leads to a whole lot of different things. So just make sure that your flesh is, you're not acting out of your flesh. Basically, you're not acting, and it's not even about sex, it's even all about anger, it's even about idol worshiping, your ego, your pride. Are you in the right place? Because if you have not, for example, this is an example, if you have not healed from your past traumas, Satan is going to use that to get into you. That there's just a comment that's going to be said to you, and you're just going to be like, like, it will make you angry, it will arouse all the wrong spots inside of you, and will just act out of your flesh. And that's why people end up beating people. That's not godly. That's Satan getting into a person's mind to perform that kind of act onto another. So make sure you are actually healed. Make sure you have all your things in check, and make sure you're not living on your flesh. Make sure you're acting out of your spirit. Like, you need to be spirit filled. Basically, whatever that you do, make sure that your spirit is leading, not your flesh. And I'm going to actually pin a podcast. It's called Hardly Initiated, and they have this series where it's like Kill the Flesh series. So a number of hosts were there talking about, and also during this season they actually went for what is it called? Just a period where you do not have sex for maybe a certain period of days. And that's why I say sex is very powerful to us, because we are fleshly human beings. We love to have sex. So, and that's a way, that's like a way that Satan uses, like, mostly to get to us, because if, like, sex is the whole body. Sex encompasses the whole body. So if the devil can get to you through sex, that, like, he has won you. Like, there's no battle over there. Okay. So make sure you are in check. These are some of the ways, guys, in which you can prepare for your wilderness season. I like this. This is a series that's very dear to me, because I'm actually going through a wilderness season right now. Maybe I'll share more when the time is due. But yeah, I hope this has incited you in some way or in any way. Thank you for coming with me. Thank you for coming along with me. If this is the first episode you're watching, guys, I highly suggest you go watch my first episode on the wilderness series, because I actually love it so much, and I hope this will be as good as, maybe even as better as the first one. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along. If you've not subscribed and you actually took something out of the video, I think that it's only right if you subscribe, because if you learn something, yeah, just subscribe, guys. And like the video as well. Thank you so much for watching. You can actually share to a friend who needs to hear this, and I'll see you in my next one. Actually, our next one will be tackling the mind. Like, how do we prepare the mind? Because the mind covers, the mind is everything. Like, the mind rules whatever we do, from our thoughts to our actions. So how can we tackle the mind while we are going through this wilderness season? Bye guys, I'll see you in my next one.